You're listening to Excellence Above Talent, a podcast where we have the hard conversations about the lives of men and what leads us to achieve greatness and suffer defeat. Hear from other men's journeys as well, as we all learn and grow together to become inspirations to ourselves and those around us. And now your host, Aaron Thomas.
What's up, my beautiful people? Aaron Thomas with Excellence Above Talent. We're doing this series on the state of manhood, and I didn't want just men's point of views. I wanted women's points of views as well. And what better way to start off the women's point of view than my lovely wife, Yanni. So she will go ahead and introduce herself, tell you guys all the wonderful things she is doing and inspiring to do. And I'll just sit back and come back on in 15 more minutes.
Not 15 minutes. You're not going to play me like that. Hi, guys. It's Yanni. I am the host of Standing Your Truth podcast with Yanni. What else do I do? I'm in school. I think that's really all that matters, to be honest. So, yeah. You just recently started I'm starting life coaching.
Yes.
I completely forgot about that.
Okay.
Which is a new venture that I'm extremely excited about, to be able to encourage and hold people accountable for the goals that they have for themselves. So if you're interested in life coaching, hit your girl up.
You're doing a letters to youth.
Oh, yeah. I am doing that. I'm sending letters to, it's not just me. I think I'm just helping to organize for the community to be able to send letters to youth in the Ector County Detention Center and kind of pour into them.
And you're also a contractor for marketing?
I'm doing a horrible job of introducing
you really
myself.
are. Well, I got you, though.
Yes, I also can help marketing. My passion for marketing really comes with helping nonprofits. I feel like they do amazing work in the community, and oftentimes they don't have money or budgets, or don't think how important it is to have someone to create their flyers and run their social media. So if you are a nonprofit, or you know a friend that runs a nonprofit that needs a little help, tell them also to hit me up.
And is it for free, or do you charge a little coin?
I charge a little coin.
Okay.
It's a nonprofit, so I know most nonprofits have, a budget. May not be the biggest budget, but they have a budget. So I'm one of those ones that I'm passionate about it. So it's a little coin. I won't break your bank, but I'll, make you pay a little something.
Yeah, got you. All right, so
with that horrible introduction.
Yeah, well, that's why you have backup, because clearly you wasn't ready.
I don't usually have to introduce myself.
Well, you gotta, I guess, get used to that.
Yeah, I'm used to having other people introduce themselves. So I can't even tell you, honestly, the last time I had to introduce myself.
Well,
but anyway,
you have to on this podcast. All right, so want to just have a deep dive into the questions. The questions changed a little bit, but they still have the same tone as the question that I've asked the men on my podcast. So, question number 1. How have the definition of masculinity evolved over the past few decades, and what impact does this evolution have on women today?
Great question. I think it has evolved. I can't even talk.
Evolved.
That in a manner to which I feel like men have more opportunity to be themselves. I feel like before, when like my mom or previous people talked about men, and it was always in a sense of like them providing, like financially, or providing some sense of security in the sense of like, hey, it's late, come out with me and protect me. Mm-hmm. Where now when I think about like you and my life, it's yes, you do provide but you provide financial stability. I know that when we go out, you will protect me, but I also know that you are there for me emotionally as well. So I just think men are now able to, I really want to just say be themselves, but be themselves out loud is what I think how that has evolved. Why is that word such a struggle for me?
Because you're trying to mix two words together.
Is that what it is?
It's evolve.
Oh, well, I'm still saying it wrong.
Yeah.
Gosh.
It starts with an E.
Oh.
Second question. In what way can men find purpose beyond societal's expectation of status and wealth, and how does this relate to women's empowerment?
I think by men having safe spaces to drop walls and to completely be themselves, that they are able to learn more about themselves. Mm-hmm. And I think it goes back to like just being themselves. They don't have to pretend to be or do something they don't want to do. And then what was the second?
How does that empower women?
I think if you have a man that's truly himself, he walks different. And then this question kind of makes me think about you, because you're you, and the way you lead our family is to be completely transparent. And I think that reflects on me and then how I am in the community and at work. Did that answer that question?
Yeah, it does. So do you think women put a lot of pressure on men to have status and wealth?
I think some females do. It's not important to me. I think I'm more worried about you being you and you being happy. You know, they have the saying, happy wife, happy life. I personally think it's happy partner, happy life. Like I know your happiness doesn't come from me, mm-hmm. but at the same time, I do feel like there's certain things that I can do or certain actions that I can take to encourage your happiness. So I think it does play a part.
Okay. Question 3. How does embracing vulnerability among men contribute to healthier relationships with women and a more balanced understanding of masculinity?
I think when men have safe places, I just feel like they're just better human beings.
Better equipped to handle the world.
Yes, and maybe not on edge because they're able to let out their emotions and they're not walking around carrying luggage, even though I'm sure there's things that maybe they don't feel comfortable to release. But I just think once they're in touch with their feelings and they have space to kind of release, that is just makes life, I'm sure, easier for them.
Question number 4. Why is emotional intelligence often excluded from discussions about manhood, and how can promoting its importance benefit women and gender equality?
I think it goes back to the first question. I think a lot of times men are only looked at as just providers. Mm-hmm. And providers in a sense, you work 12 hours and, bring home the check. Your wife spends the check. And that's usually how that goes. But I just think it's important. I don't know. I kind of go back to the idea of like the fact that I believe the man leads the household. And if the household is only set on him, like you just providing just with your check, constantly working, and you don't have a release, I can only imagine how that household's being led, because I feel like that man is not truly himself. I think emotional intelligence is often excluded because of tradition. Traditionally, the man is only providing money, and that like he goes out, he works, he provides. You make his meal first when you cook. You make sure you have his plate. But I don't think there's really been a lot of discussion about men's mental health and making sure that as a wife, you create a space for your husband to release. So I think just based on tradition and people getting caught up on that idea.
Why do you feel it's hard for men to be emotionally intelligent, to open up, to discuss feelings and emotions with the woman they say they love and want to be with forever?
So I think if neither party has been taught, so whether the woman, hasn't been taught to create a space for him to, or is not open maybe to that, and if a man is not, he's grew up with maybe his dad being tough and macho, and so if neither party's aware of it or even knows any better, and they don't go seek it, I don't think they're going to know how to cross that bridge. I think with me going through therapy and being a life coach and interested in mental health, I think I'm a little bit more aware, even though I probably still miss some some markers and still have some learning to do there. But I know how important it is for you to be to have an out and to have a good mental health, like especially with you teaching. You pour a lot into the community, so I feel like when you come home, my job as your wife is to make sure you're okay to go back out the next day to pour into everyone else. And I know I can't control all of your cup and how it's filled, but I do believe as your helpmate that part of that is, I feel like my job. And
helping fill my cup.
Yeah. And that's kind of my prayer when I pray is like, Lord, give me, insight to your son. Allow me to, know how to be his helpmate. If there's something I'm missing, show me.
That's good. 5, what steps can men take to overcome societal's pressure to suppress their emotions, and how can women support this process?
I think men have to stop worrying about what other men may think or what people think in general, which is a very hard statement, especially when they don't know if they should go left or go right when it comes to mental health. And I think as a society, we do a horrible job at encouraging men to even look into the mental health or talk about self-care with men. It's always usually women when we talk about self-care, and we're always talking about how, moms need a day off and stay-at-home moms. Well, they're stay-at-home dads too. That is a thing. And oftentimes, unfortunately, when you hear about that, it's usually like, what? How are you a stay-at-home dad? Which is terrible. Nobody talks about stay-at-home moms in that same mindset, same negative connotation. So I think to overcome it, they have to don't worry about what people say, and put themselves first wholeheartedly, and not just in a sense of, just put themselves first.
Yeah, I was watching something the other day, and the guy was like, the hierarchy of his family is his wife, his children, then himself.
Yeah, no.
And I think he has a hard time, or men like that have a hard time decompressing, because there's always something that someone needs or wants from wife or kids, and they never get to relax or have some time, me time for themselves, to fill their cup back up and to go out into the family strong. And so I think it's a big issue that a lot of men face. We put this pressure on us to make sure everyone else is good when, and I'll keep saying it, if we're not good, the family cannot be good.
100%.
So it's super important to make sure, like you said, you have to be selfish with your time sometimes when it comes to family, to make sure that you go out there and support and take care of them.
With you saying that is kind of, it's sad, because a lot of times women will be like, I need a day off, and we'll do it in a quickie.
Yeah.
So the fact that, he thinks it's his wife, his kids, and then him, if something was to happen because he's not taking care of himself, which often happens, then what?
Oh, she'll go find somebody else to take care of her, and then life goes on.
The second part, I'm not even addressing that. The second part of the question was, what can women do to improve this? I think women just really have to stop and slow down. You worry about your kids, you worry about yourself, worry about your husband's mental health. Make sure he has an out. Whether like for you, you have basketball, you have this podcast, you have CrossFit. What else do you? We now have the game that you've bought. So I think I know how important it is. So, and I've also had to learn. I used to come home and I had 5,000 things to say really quickly.
Lord.
Anyways, and you were like, hey, I just got home. I need a second. So now, for the most part, before I start telling you about my day, I say, are you good or do you need a second?
Yeah, because you're walking. And I'm like, oh.
I am not a turkey.
Oh, definitely.
That's what you sound like right now.
That's what you sound like when you walked in the house and just started talking.
It kind of goes back to the important part of you have to learn your partner. But
have conversations. I could have easily just been annoyed and not say anything. And at some point, you're going to feel some type of way and you're going to blow up because you don't feel like you're being heard. And I'm like, I just physically can't. Nor do I want to hear you right now. Not in a negative way. I just give me some time and then you can talk my ear off and I'll be there to listen.
Whatever. Kind of goes back to not all confrontation is bad.
Correct. You need to have it, especially if you want to have a strong relationship in anything.
Yeah.
Marriage, friendship, jobs, career. It's a must.
Yeah.
What are some of the most significant mental health challenges men face today, or what do you think they are? And how can awareness of these issues improve relationship with women?
I think I really don't see a lot of like men mental health, whether it be like talking about like counseling or I think just not having the knowledge of what an out is, and not having the safe place.
So you've talked about a safe place. That's something that you keep bringing up. What do you think a safe place is for a man? Or how can a man cultivate that?
I think a safe place comes with having safe people. And with safe people mean it's the person or place where you can like put your mask down. You don't have to pretend. It's okay to say, I'm not okay. I'm struggling. I need help. And you're not judged. You're helped. You're encouraged. I think that's what a safe place is.
Got you. I think that's a good safe place for men.
Yeah. Wait, I have one thing to say about that. I try my best to make our home a safe place for you, which is why, like, when you were like, hey, I need a second, stop talking. Or, today, right now is not a good time. I stopped. Because I know a lot of times, I know for my previous marriage, I used to sit in the car and not want to come inside. Because I was like, going inside was a lot. And I don't want that for either one of us. So I make it to where, you may sit in your car because you want to edit your video and not get out. But you're not sitting in your car because, you know when you walk through the doors, there's going to be
chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it goes both ways. Because I try to make it a safe place for you. I try to be more in my feelings so that it's not just always on. When I come home, I can relax. And again, I feel like as men, the influence of our house goes how our energy flows. And I think a lot of times coming home from work and, fighting the world, we come home and we're vigilant and we're still fighting. And the household picks up on the energy. That energy then becomes the energy of the household. So a lot of times it's important as a man to, when you get to your house, to reset and make sure that the energy that you want in the house is the energy that you bring into the house. Because it's the energy that people are going to pick up on, and it's the energy that then the house then is going to become. So it's important that not only am I trying to create a safe place, but Yanni's also trying to create a safe place. And so it just becomes a lot safer when both people are coming into it with some level of understanding and trying to make sure that each other, they're safe, they are heard in this relationship. So super important. What characteristics define a healthy male friendship, and how can fostering these connections benefit women and create a more supportive environment?
So I think friendships can be an outlet for men if they're correct. I do believe that friendships, you can have friends that are for you and good for you, and you can have friends that are not. And the ones that are not, I do believe, especially for men that are in committed relationships and married, it does affect, especially if they're like a bad influence. Now, with that being said, I think good male friends are just good friends in general. They encourage you, they uplift you, they challenge you, they push you. It kind of comes back to like that safe place or that safe person. Someone that you can say, hey, I'm struggling. Or hey, I have this idea, and maybe they can help either make that idea happen or kind of help you tailor that idea and push you to make it happen.
Yeah.
But I think it's just kind of another way for a man to be, or to have their cup being filled.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're getting, I guess, the cup filled from different angles.
And it kind of shows that it's okay for a man to be human. You don't have to, again, like you said, put on this mask and try to act like you're tough and nothing hurts you.
Yeah.
So how can a woman benefit from a man who is in a healthy relationship or friendship? Because the way I was about to say that, it was going to be with another man, and that would have been like super weird. But how can women benefit from a healthy friendship that men have with each other?
I feel like a man having a healthy friendship, I don't know, it's like an extra fire in him. Like I think it's an extra added layer to a positive mindset. And a positive mindset rubs off on a female in many different ways, depending upon how he leads at home. So I just think it allows the man to have a clearer mindset. And then also, I don't know if men talk like how females talk sometimes, where we like ask for advice. So it can also help in that sense, or maybe that guy can be like, hey, your anniversary's coming up. What are you doing for your wife? Or what are you doing for your girlfriend? Or something from that angle. So it can kind of help encourage the man to be a better man.
Yeah, I can see that. And I would assume a lot of issues happen because there aren't enough healthy male friendships that are going to push men to not do crazy things or to hurt their family. A lot of times, hell, in my first marriage, it's not that my friends wasn't telling me to not do it, but we were all just kind of having fun and partying and drinking, and we were just kind of all on the same mindset. And it's not a negative thing, but at one point, someone has to then start to question, like, hey, is this sustainable for myself, for family? Clearly, it wasn't sustainable for me, but I'm not blaming alcohol or my friends. It's just there wasn't enough deeper conversations. Now, there were conversations, and sometimes the conversations got deep, but there wasn't enough conversations that challenged the things that we did. And I think that's super important, because I think when men challenge other men, that does light like a fire, or that does kind of motivate you or help you open your eyes to see, okay, I am doing some dumb stuff. I need to fix it.
Yeah. Kind of goes back, how relationships, I believe the Bible says you have to be like equally yoked. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's in all relationships. So you don't want a friend that, knows you're married and is having you doing stuff that a married man should not be doing. And those are not the friends you need to be hanging out with.
Well, no friends can make you do anything you don't want to do.
True.
I think the person married or not, is the one that wants to do it. And they should have friends to be like, take your ass home because you don't need to be here.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I can see that. I feel like we've already answered 8 multiple times. Oh. 9, why is mentorship crucial in shaping the next generation of men, and how can women play a role in fostering positive male mentorship?
So, I think the role that we play is, I'm here to support you. So I'm just thinking about you and this year with teaching and coaching.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of games, after hours, and a lot of things on the weekends. So for me, I know, especially from, our conversations at home, that, your students and your players need you. Like, they need to see a encouraging African American man that's consistent. So my role is, it's kind of like, when parents, they send their kids out in their best. So my role is to make sure that, I think anyway, you're fed, you're rested, you're hydrated, whatever I need to do to make sure that you're at your best for them. Whatever it is I need to do to make sure that you're, from what I can control anyway, at your best. Some of that I know I can't control, but I know that I can get up 30, 45 minutes early to make your breakfast. I know that, I don't know if it really makes a difference, but, me coming to your games on Saturdays or being at the games after hours, there to support. For the most part, the good thing is I know about sports, so it's not a complete blank to me. Not only just being there, but also talking to the parents and actually being involved. I feel like that makes it easier for you, so I'm not a burden or something you have to worry about when you're giving back. Now, what that does for this next generation, I feel like you are planting a seed for them to break generational curses. I feel like you are showing them something a lot of them do not get to see on a day-to-day. Even for myself, I think I had one male teacher that was African-American male. And he taught, actually, to be honest with you, he was my middle school math teacher.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But that was it.
Yeah.
So we don't see a lot of you in the school district. I think you're showing them something different. And with you and your personality, not only showing them, but you're challenging them to do different things, be different people. Don't be what society may want them to kind of be.
So I don't know. These questions, I might have to go back and tweak because I feel like a lot of them were saying, we're kind of pushing a narrative, or it kind of felt like it was going down the same hole. I don't know. Did you feel that way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Still going to put this podcast out because I still think it's important for people to hear this conversation.
Yeah.
But I definitely will go, and that's the beauty of life. That's the beauty of knowing yourself or trying to be the best that you can possibly be as a person. Is sometimes when things don't feel right, or it feels like it's trying to push an agenda. Because what I don't want is an agenda being pushed. What I want is people to come here and be fully transparent and open and vulnerable, which you was. But I feel like each question was trying to get you to say kind of the same thing. So,
but I do have just something to say though. I do want to, for the ladies that are listening to this, the men in your life, their mental health matters. So whether it's your boyfriend, your husband, your son, your grandfather, your uncle, whoever it is, check in on them. And they may tell you they're okay. Because they don't, sometimes I feel like, especially younger men, they don't quite know how to articulate their feelings if someone's not kind of guiding them through that process. They don't know. Because I feel like that's not something that's usually taught to men. And from the young men that I know, how you doing? Good. I'm all right. So maybe, we have, what is it called?
The feelings will.
Mm-hmm. Give them something like that where they can start to get used to these other type of feelings outside of just good, bad,
angry.
Yeah, like so they can start learning some different vocabulary when that. But also watch their actions. Because sometimes they'll tell you they're okay, but maybe they're moving slower or maybe they're pulling away and they don't want to do certain things. But just I had to tell Aaron, I said, I think I'm for him, which, I mean, for the most part, you're pretty open with me. Like, if you're having a bad day, you'll tell me. Mm-hmm. But I also just feel like there's an extra level with you being a veteran that I just need to just be a little bit more aware. And then it's not aware to where every 5 seconds I'm asking him if he's okay, but watching some of the words he's saying and be like, hey, wait, what made you say that? But just being more curious, I guess, about your mental health or their mental health. Sorry, I was talking about him and I said your, but being more curious about their mental health and, hey, just use it as a way to love on them a little extra and remind them that they matter and they matter more than just their paycheck or just the security that they provide. Like, to have a man that is emotionally available and is important, because I feel like as females we're emotional beings and our emotions can go from high, low, and in between very quickly. So to have a man that is able to process the emotions and be able to read you, we're not even able to read yourself, is important. But as a female, it's important for us to create environments for them to be able to, I would say, tap into their feelings.
Yeah.
If you don't allow it, because a lot of times, people say, you're emotional and that makes them somehow less of a man, which I think is just baloney, because everyone has feelings. Everyone has emotions. Yeah,
that fool's still emotional if he's punching in your damn face.
He's emotional. He's just very angry. Doesn't know how to process them, obviously.
Or punching a hole in the wall or doing crazy stuff. That's still emotions. It's just a negative way of looking at it. Yeah. Do you think there's a push for women to take the man spot?
I would say if you, especially heavy on social media and society, yes. The narrative is always, I don't need a man. I can do it on my own. And you need a man, girl. Sis, you can't do it. I feel like, I'm not quite sure how to say it, so I'm just going to say it. I feel like single moms that are raising boys that have that mindset of like, I can raise my son by myself, you're only hurting your son in the long run. I feel like boys need their dads just like girls need their fathers. My father was, I don't want to say in and out because he really wasn't even in. He's more out than in. We kind of got it together now that I'm 34. Then I had a stepdad that was somewhat present, but we need a guy. I think that's, without having that father figure, is kind of how those daddy issues come about. That makes me think, do we ever talk about, do boys have mommy issues?
Definitely.
Oh no, daddy issues.
Daddy issues, yeah. Yeah, boys have daddy issues.
I think that's something that's interesting, okay.
Yeah. Well, the mama's there, so they're not going to have mama issues.
No, I definitely said it wrong, but I meant daddy issues.
But young boys have daddy issues, and those daddy issues usually, a lot of times, are the fear of abandonment. Mm. They don't want to be abandoned. They feel like they were part of the problem as to why their dad left. They have a hard time being loved because they make the assumption that their own father didn't love them, because if he loved them, why would he leave? So you put a lot of pressure on yourself when you are in relationships. And I think it causes a lot of issues, a lot of insecurities, could create jealousy because you want to make sure that person isn't going to leave you. So you try to do all the things that make them not leave, but also you're mentally just not ready, and you're thinking about all the bad things that are going to happen or you think are going to happen. So you try to hold on to this person that might not even be good for you. But because you don't want to leave them, because you know how that feels, and you don't want them to leave you, you're just in like this negative space. That's from my assessment of it, but others could be different. But yeah, there's definitely daddy issues.
But I feel like it sounds very similar to have like the female side.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like instead of abandonment, at least for me anyway, mine processed as I'm not worthy or I'm not enough or something's wrong with me.
Or you got to go find that man that's going to make it feel better.
Yeah. That's definitely how I got married the first time. Tough. Running. I was running, and that's exactly how that happened. And I thought, me not being worthy or me thinking very little of myself and settling, and then just picking a partner that, quote unquote, solved the issue by me getting married. Learn my lesson. That's not funny.
You were saying something about before you went to daddy issues.
Uh-huh.
What were you saying? I totally forgot too.
Why did you think I was going to remember that?
No, I don't know. So yeah.
Ooh, let me do your closing.
No, I wasn't closing yet.
Oh, okay.
So super important to have conversations with women in your life. I'm a big believer in men cannot do it by themselves. Women cannot do it by themselves. The world is just so much better when we can come together, have tough conversations, and try to figure out ways to collaborate, figure out ways to push each other and make each other better. And it's just super important that we don't fall into the narrative of what the world is trying to push on us when it comes to women and men and all the negativity that comes with women being women and men being men. There's beauty in the togetherness of it, but if you pull it apart and you try to pinpoint and look at all the negative things or make things negative about a man or a woman, it only gets worse, because then you only see the negative side of it. So super important that we have these conversations with our spouses, with our daughters, or our aunts, the people in your life that can give you some feedback to help you be a better man. So
if no one's told you today, we want to be the first to tell you that you are loved, needed, wanted, valued, seen, appreciated,
heard, and
God only made one you. There's something that is inside of you that He wants to show the world. So be who God has called you to be, not who this world wants you to be. I feel like that's bars.
That's not what I say, but that's.
I added a little extra.
You definitely added
pizzazz.
You added more than a little extra. You added your own damn ending, which is totally fine.
Hey, no, it's partially. It's like half and half.
No, it's definitely not half and half.
It
was more like 10% me, and then it just went completely off. But we're gonna.
I gave you the standing. I gave you the standing in your truth ending.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it. I hope you have a blessed weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And for daily motivational and up-to-date content, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Excellence Above Talent. And remember, keep moving forward, never give up, and you are never alone in this battle. We'll see you next time.